Throughout history, whether in the Bible or in the world, when we look back at the individuals, nations, and organizations that have consistently achieved remarkable feats and wielded significant power, we find one commonality. They all had dreams. We can see that where there is no dream, all movement comes to a complete halt. And there is a profound lack of the will, motivation, and conviction needed to achieve anything. Therefore, I am convinced that if we carry out the gospel work with dreams, if our personal dreams are united and connected with the dream that God desires in Zion, we will be able to accomplish everything in our gospel work. Even when we look in the Bible at the forefathers of faith, such as Moses and Apostle Paul, because they pioneered and cultivated the gospel with their own dreams, Moses was able to lead the Israelites out of Egypt and guide them to the land of Canaan. Likewise, the small gathering of only 120 people in Mark's room was able to grow into a vast multitude of God's people because they consistently carried out their work with a dream. Let us turn to Hebrews chapter 11 and see how Moses led the Israelites with a dream. Shall we move on to verse 23? By faith, Moses' parents hid him for 3 months after he was born, because they saw he was no ordinary child, and they were not afraid of the king's edict. By faith, Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He held the greatest authority and power as the son of Pharaoh's daughter, yet he rejected it. By faith, Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He chose to be mistreated along with the people of God rather than to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. He regarded disgrace for the sake of Christ as of greater value than the treasures of Egypt, because he was looking ahead to his reward. Moses had a very profound dream. Moses resisted all the temptations of power in Egypt and instead chose the path of suffering alongside God's people. If he didn't have a dream, he would never have been able to resist such temptation. What kind of dream did he have? He chose to be mistreated along with the people of God, regarding disgrace for the sake of Christ as of greater value than the treasures of Egypt. What was he looking ahead to? Here, it is simply referred to as a reward, but this reward held a far greater meaning than all the countless treasures of gold and silver in Egypt. That is why he led the Israelites in the scorching heat of the desert for 40 years, enduring all their grumbling, complaining, and whining. All the other Israelites abandoned their dreams while living in the desert. Once they lost their dreams, they constantly grumbled. Those who hold on to their dreams do not grumble, complain, or harbor dissatisfaction. They view hardships as a process to fulfill their dreams, but those without dreams grumble whenever their present reality becomes uncomfortable. At the slightest hardship, they cry out in pain. Among that multitude of grumblers, Joshua and Caleb never gave up on their dreams. Thus, they entered the land of Canaan and received immense blessings from God. When they entered the land of Canaan and the land was distributed, all the others received their portions by tribe. But we can see that God granted a special inheritance to Joshua and Caleb. Therefore, as we live our life of faith, we must make every effort to ensure our dreams are never lost.